Hey guys, my name is BobLyn, aka PabLoon, and today I am back with another ship review of the new ship that's going to be coming out very soon. This is the Tier IX IJN Battleship Iwami. This is, I'm just guessing, but off the looks of it, it looks like another type of the Heisen battleships. But this is the Iwami, and let's go into the stats here first and talk about what this thing can do. So, health points, it's got 55,000, pretty alright actually. Not the tankiest of ships, but it does have some better, citadel protection than the St. Vincent that we covered a couple days ago. It can go 34 knots, and it's actually, quite fast for that reason. It is equipped with 4 turrets with double-barreled guns, and they have 410mm that reload in 19.4 seconds. So it is the same caliber as the Heisen. It also has quite the amazing secondary suite, because you guessed right, this is a secondary ship. Or at least in terms of IJN ships, this thing is pretty well equipped out with secondaries. You get 155mm, 3 in total, 2 that can shoot at one time, and the big ones reload here in 9 seconds. And then you get a bunch of 100mm that have just under 6 kilometers of range, auto secondaries. These are quite fun to use, and this is why I really like the ship. It also gets 4 on each side, so 8 in total, 610mm torpedoes that goes 10.8 kilometers, which is very far. I mean, it's IJN torpedoes, so that's what you would expect. Now, the way I built this is I took Elite Gun Operator, and there's no reason to take the other one. I've said this multiple times. And here you see the historical camo that buffs your main battery shell dispersion, and I must say I actually really like this tiger stripe camo it's going for. But this is the special camo, the koi camo, and as you can see it buffs secondaries, which is what I went for in this build. So yeah, let me just take this battle honor here, because otherwise some of you are probably going to be annoyed by that little red, circle. For my equipment, I am taking main battery mod 3 dispersion. We are gonna go with propulsion mod and surface detection. So the surface detection you saw was 10.10, and the reason I went with that is because I play this kind of like a battle cruiser. We have a normal commander on with torpedo alert, artillery maintenance, victorious charge. Then we go for survivalist, generalist, marksman, because this thing has precise aim, adrenaline rush, and of course we gotta go for the close quarters combat expert, honor seeker, APCS, and we go for citadel strike. Now I forgot to show the details, so the skills that Iwami has. This is a pre-recorded footage, but I can tell you that this thing has secondary overload 1, 2 uses, and then it has precise aiming 1, 2 uses. So it is definitely going towards the secondary focus. Now you will see the skills here, and I will be sure to put them in the thumbnail so people won't be confused as to what this thing can actually do. But anyways, the Iwami. This thing is interesting. You can see that the torpedo angles here, the rear torpedo angles, are very much made for kiting, and it's gonna be, you're gonna be full broadside if you want to send these, towards an enemy ship. But let's talk about the main guns here first. So these are 4 turrets with double barrels of 410mm, the same caliber that Heisen uses, and I'm pretty sure the Isumo also has 410mm. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong there. I've never played the Isumo and probably won't ever do it. I haven't heard much good about it. Maybe it's just the stereotypical Tier 9 battleship, but these guns here, they're not anything to write home about. They're pretty accurate, which, you would expect from an IJN battleship. But in my 10 games I played in this, I never once got a citadel, and I am running APCS. Now, that could just be plain dumb luck, or me being inaccurate. Let's just chalk it up to that. But from my experience when playing this, the main battery is not the best in the game, for sure. The Heisen, I'm gonna call it the Heisen, because that's how I feel like I should pronounce it, definitely gets, a little more citadels from my experience. I do own the Heisen in my main account, so I've played it quite a bunch. And these Iwami guns, they don't feel quite as punchy. You only get 8 instead of 12, which you will get on the Heisen. But, you know, you don't just get main guns. The Heisen only has main guns and manual secondaries, whereas this thing, well, you can see the auto secondaries going off and these 155s that just took out that bot. It also gets these insane torpedoes, which is, in my opinion, what makes this ship really fun. You can go into some knife fights and brawls with battleships that you realistically should not be able to fight. Now, I also tried fighting a Großer Kurfürst. That did not go very well. I was not expecting to win a fight against the GK, but it can definitely punch above its weight class in brawls, but not at these long-range fights. Ideally, the playstyle you want to have with Iwami here is, in the beginning of the game, you're just going to be sitting here like we are, making sure you're getting some nice hits on enemy BBs like this Lepanto here. We're trying to help our team take him out. But then as the game progresses, you're going to be wanting to get closer. At least that's what I tried to do. That's also why I'm running a surface detection build, is, like I said, to play this more like a battle cruiser. Now, this thing is... I wouldn't say it's, you know, not tanky, but it is an IJN battleship, and they do light on fire pretty easily. I wasn't attacked by CVs while playing this, but I'm not guessing the AA is going to be anything, you know, to write home about, like I usually say. But here we go. There's a Smollend who wants to show himself, and I decided to focus my attention on the Iowa with my main guns, but he went down, you know, swiftly because of that gearing just, yeah, destroyed him. I think they traded. But here you can see the secondary battery here going off, and I actually misclicked and used one of my secondary overloads early on in the game. That's a classic PabLoon thing, fat fingering and, well, wasting a very powerful skill. Now this is only secondary overload 1, but I really like this skill. It's probably my favorite skill in the whole game, secondary overload, and just having a IJN BB with this is really fun. I think the main attraction of Iwami is you have these, you know, IJN BB guns that, in my experience, like I said, maybe, you know, if I have more games, I can, you know, get some very nice citadels and stuff. But you have an IJN BB that is also a battle cruiser. It feels like a battle cruiser because you have these secondaries and you have these awesome torpedoes. And we're going to see them in action here. This Smollend is probably not aware that I have torpedoes. And that is the... Well, you kind of have an advantage when you're playing in these press accounts on totally new ships that people don't really know what you're in. And this Smollend, he's going to go for a full strike, and obviously he can't take me out with his torps. So we're just going to eat them, and then we're just going to wait for him to pass on to the other side. I don't think he knew that I had these torps, but they are definitely useful, as you can see. So I kill you just got Uno reverse, and we took him out. Looks like I killed you, sir. Haha. But here we see, okay, a full broadside Jinan, right? We got 4 hits, pretty nice, no citadels. This happened a little bit too often. So, yeah, that's why I'm basing this opinion, or this saying that this thing is not a... It's not a citadel powerhouse, for sure. I don't think that it's going to be pumping out that. But it's fast, like I said. It goes 34 knots. It's not the most maneuverable, but it can definitely turn a little bit. It's not very too clunky. But the thing is, you don't have sonar or any form of deterrence or early warning against torpedoes. Jinans and Shimikazes, they're gonna be tough to deal with, like they are in any BB without sonar. The Jinan there goes down, which is quite nice for us, and now we just have this Colombo out here on the far side, out around 15 kilometers away. So I have another game lined up for you guys because I wanted to show the brawling capabilities of the Iwami. We're going to be brawling both DDs and another Jinan and a battleship because that's what I was trying to do in this thing. But overall, I really enjoy this ship. I don't know if to class it as a battle cruiser or battleship because it definitely has a more armor and health than, you know, a straight up battle cruiser would, but it is still, you know, it's still not punchy as, let's say, the Izumo or the Heisen. We're gonna see here that even at this close range down into his deck, we actually can't get any citadels on this Colombo. I mean, he is dead here no matter what, but it is mostly full pens and half pens. So yeah, I think it's a good ship. But let's see this next game that I have here, and let's see what happens. So there's quite a few bots in this one, which it is kind of hard for me to avoid bots because, you know, I am playing on EU. And at the time I was playing this, I think it was like early morning on NA, so that's why I have 2 games for you guys. But we're playing on Loop, finally one of the newer maps in not Encounter or Hourglass like we see all the time. So I was happy to see this. I really like Loop. I think it's a fun map. There's a lot of islands, a lot of cover, and DDs and cruisers, obviously they shine on this map. But here I'm not gonna fat finger, and we're actually gonna use our secondary overload like you're supposed to. So we're gonna go towards A here, and it's really fun when you have these 34 knots of speed. You can actually get to some pretty nice locations. We can actually see we do 35 knots here, and yeah, I think that must be what's it called? Well, no, I don't have artillery maintenance. I don't have preheating. Can someone explain to me how we're going 35? Is that because I have, I don't know, buffed the ship? I have put equipment in it. I'm not too sure. The main thing is it's a fast little BB here. It's pretty quick. But we're gonna go towards A, and hopefully we're gonna find some DDs and cruisers to brawl with, because that's what I like doing. So we spot the Jinan. We know there's gonna be torpedoes at least from him, and there's 2 Shimakazes, and the bot is just making sure that this player is having the best day of his life. Yeah, please fix the bots, Wargaming. That is one of the most annoying things you can deal with. But we're going to open up with our secondary overload, using these auto secondaries as much as possible. But, you know, this bot here is, well, dodging everything we lay at him because it's a bot. And for some reason they can defy the laws of physics. We don't know how, they just can. But we're going to chunk some 155s into him and get this boat turned around, because I want to be in A. The Jinan is also moving towards me, and well, we're gonna be in his torpedo soup, most likely. That's what you should expect when you're fighting Jinans and Shimakazes. He could already have fired torpedoes, because he's full broadside to me and I'm in his torpedo range. And now we are alone against these, well, I was about to say 3, but it's more like 2, because the bot's dead. So we're gonna expect a ton of torpedoes right about now. So I'm gonna be slowing down and focusing my attention on this Shimakaze here. I don't want to show too much broadside because, well, I can't see the Shimakaze anymore. He's in the smoke, and I didn't see any torpedoes from the Jinan, so I don't know if he's fired them. At this point, I'm aware that he has not, otherwise they would have hit me. But look, we're gonna shoot full broadside on a Jinan, and we get, well, 5 hits, no citadels, and mostly half pens. It just feels like these main guns are quite weak. But we managed to dodge all the Shimakaze's torpedoes, and, well, now he's in trouble because my secondaries could just finish him off, and that's what they're gonna do. Bye-bye to... I can't say his name. That name, I don't think that's a family-friendly name. But nonetheless, a good name. So, I'm gonna shoot my torpedoes on the right side of this island, because I'm guessing Jinan is gonna be pushing that way. So meanwhile, I shoot those torpedoes there. I'm gonna be focusing my attention on the other side of the island, and now I know he's coming this way. So I'm gonna be making sure I keep going here. I did not expect him to come around the corner this fast, but he's gonna pop out of nowhere. And I was hoping to get a citadel or 2 at this range, but we get absolutely nothing. And now I just have to be parallel, because we might have overturned a little bit here. We actually managed to dodge his first salvo of torps. Here comes the torpedo reload, and here's his last salvo, and, well, he's gonna go down here. So we took out the threats here at A, and you can see Iwami, it moves pretty well. It's fast, it is a battleship, so of course it's gonna be turning slow, but it can actually hold its own in these fights. So now we're gonna be moving on, and there's still a couple enemies left. There's still a battleship and a destroyer, and they're taking all the caps right now. So me and this, I think it's a Minotaur, we're the only 2 players left on our team. The CVs are bots, like they usually are. Great. great matchmaking, you know how it is. So my Minotaur, he's doing a great job of capturing A and making sure that we don't fall behind on points, because currently it's pretty even. So we spot the Summers, he's in B, and I'm gonna make a mad dash for the CV. I don't know where the enemy Battleship is currently, but I'm hoping to spot him soon, and if I don't, I will spot the CV for sure, because it's a bot and he's just sitting still. So we activate precise aim and fire away at the Summers here. We get one hit, which is pretty sad. I probably could have aimed that better. But now I have to make a gamble. Is the Summers going to shoot all his torpedoes at me? And if he does that, well, I'm going in a straight line. He can probably hit me then. Or is he going to go for the Minotaur? I was gambling on the fact that he was going to go for the Minotaur, but then I see him shooting at me and I'm like, oh shit. He's definitely shooting torps at me. Meanwhile, we spot the Minnesota, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is the time to shine, Iwami. This is what you've been waiting for. A Tier 9 BB, very slow one at that, with a slow reload, that you can close in on and maybe brawl. We don't have any more secondary overload, unfortunately, but the Minotaur is luckily taking advantage of the fact that, there's a Summers right there, and he takes him out. So thank you for that, Minotaur. Now I can focus my attention on this Minnesota. So we turn our ship, and just look how much broadside we actually have to give. This is where it can be a little bit stressful in the Iwami, is because they are rear mounted, these torpedoes. So I'm instantly turning back just to hopefully scoot under his salvo. I mean, at this range it is unlikely, but now we're kind of angled and we get very lucky that his salvo there did practically nothing to us. We are still healthy enough to get our next salvo of torpedoes off, and this is where Japanese 610mm torps really come in handy, especially in these ranges, because it's highly unlikely that he's gonna avoid those torps, and we end up getting all of our torps on him, boom boom boom, and the guy is gonna go down to our floods and fires. So a pretty fun little end to the battle there. Now we just have this CV, and well, we don't have enough time to take him out, but we definitely made sure we won the game thanks to the Minotaur and me, I would say. We did a pretty good job. So I think this shows you pretty well what the Iwami can do and what it can't do. It is not a bad sniping platform, it is just not the best, and definitely not how the ship should be played. You want to go for these aggressive pushes once the opportunity arises, but you also don't want to be pushing all the time, because you're still an IJN BB that can take punishment like any other battleship can. But a very fun ship nonetheless, and if it's not in the sonar sweep, I mean, I don't know, it probably will be, but if it's somewhat manageable to obtain, I'm probably gonna go for it, because I really enjoyed playing this ship. So here we are at the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, tell me in the comments if this is something you're gonna get, or yeah, what do you think of this ship? For now, my name has been BobLyn, aka PabLoon, and I am gonna be signing out.